On September 19, 2021, the world was left in shock as a young woman's life was tragically cut short. Gabby Petito, 22-year-old travel blogger, was found dead after her disappearance during a cross-country road trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. What started as a story of love and adventure turned into one of the most haunting mysteries in recent history. But the shocking twists and turns that followed would leave everyone questioning. How could this have happened? What went wrong in the days leading up to her death? The disappearance of Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's road trip across the United States seemed like a dream come true. The couple set off in July 2021, capturing their journey on social media. They visited national parks, hiked mountains, and shared their adventures with their growing online audience. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. Gabby's last post on Instagram was dated August 25th. After that, nothing. On August 12th, just days before Gabby disappeared, police were called to a domestic dispute between the couple in Moab. Body cam footage revealed a visibly distressed Gabby, talking about the pressure she felt while traveling with Brian. Yet, no charges were filed, and the couple was allowed to go on their way. But was this a warning sign? Could the relationship have been toxic all along? The search for Gabby. As the days passed, Gabby's family became increasingly worried. On September 11, 2021, Gabby's parents reported her missing. A nationwide search was launched. Social media flooded with support, as people around the country shared information and tips. But Brian Laundrie, Gabby's fiancé, returned home to Florida on September 1st without her. He refused to cooperate with authorities. Brian's silence only deepened suspicions. He went on with his life, staying quiet while the search for Gabby intensified. His decision to lawyer up and refuse to speak to investigators raised more questions. Why wasn't he talking? Was he hiding something? What did Brian know? If you want to stay updated on this case and others like it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a moment. On September 19, 2021, Gabby's body was discovered in a remote area of Wyoming, just a short distance from where she and Brian had been traveling. The world mourned the loss of a young woman full of dreams and potential. But this was just the beginning of a chilling investigation. The autopsy confirmed what many had feared. Gabby's death was ruled a homicide. She had been killed, but how and why? Brian Laundrie's disappearance and the manhunt. In the wake of Gabby's death, the hunt for Brian Laundrie intensified. He had disappeared just days before Gabby's body was found. Was he on the run? Authorities scoured the Carlton Reserve in Florida, where he was last seen, but he was nowhere to be found. As the days turned into weeks, tensions escalated. Brian's parents, who had initially been cooperating with authorities, were now criticized for their apparent silence. Was Brian hiding out with their help, or was he truly gone? The discovery of Brian Laundrie's remains. On October 20th, 2021, nearly a month after he vanished, Brian Laundrie's remains were found in a Florida nature reserve. The world had been waiting for answers. Could this case finally come to a close? The cause of death was ruled a suicide. The shocking twist left more questions than answers. Did Brian Laundrie end his life because of guilt, or was there something darker at play? Could he have been planning this all along? The tragic story of Gabby Petito's life and death serves as a haunting reminder of how quickly a relationship can turn dark, how the warning signs can go unnoticed, and how a tragedy can impact so many lives. Gabby's story continues to raise awareness about domestic violence, the power of social media in investigations, and the ongoing search for justice. While Gabby's story ended too soon, her legacy continues to live on. Her family has worked tirelessly to honor her memory, advocating for change and pushing for justice. In the end, we're left to remember Gabby not just for how she died, but for the beautiful life she lived and the inspiration she left behind. One of the most fascinating and troubling aspects of this case was how social media played a central role in the investigation. Gabby Petito was an influencer. with thousands of followers who were closely following her journey. Her posts, her photos, even her captions became clues to a larger narrative. But it wasn't just Gabby's followers that played a role. Social media platforms themselves became vital tools in tracking down clues and piecing together what happened. From the moment Gabby was reported missing, online communities began to work together. Investigators and concerned citizens alike combed through every piece of information available, analyzing videos, timelines, and clues that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. Some speculated that Gabby's own posts hinted at the increasing tension in her relationship with Brian, while others questioned the actions of Brian and his family after her disappearance. As pressure mounted, the case went viral, drawing attention from people around the world. A new era of true crime. This case highlighted the power of social media, not only as a tool for communication but also as a potential force for solving mysteries. The question arises, in a world where everyone is connected, how does this change the way we approach investigations? How can digital evidence, whether photos, videos, or posts, help law enforcement piece together a clearer picture of events that once were so difficult to untangle? What do you think? Did social media help solve the case, or did it complicate things further? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The controversy surrounding Brian's parents. As investigators scoured the Carlton Reserve and Brian Laundrie's parents remained silent, a storm of controversy began to build. From the moment Brian returned home alone without Gabby, the public questioned why his parents didn't speak out or help law enforcement sooner. The Laundrie family became the subject of intense scrutiny. Why, some asked, didn't they come forward with more information? Were they shielding Brian? Or were they simply trying to protect their son in his moment of crisis? The Laundrie family's decision to lawyer up and avoid cooperating with investigators sparked outrage, with many believing they had an obligation to assist. On the other hand, some legal experts suggested that this might have been their only choice to avoid potentially incriminating themselves. But as the weeks passed, the question loomed larger. Did they know more than they were letting on? Were they protecting Brian, or were they simply overwhelmed by a tragedy they could not understand? On the other side of this tragedy, Gabby's family was left to grieve the loss of their daughter, while also dealing with the intense media scrutiny. Their grief, compounded by the knowledge that Brian's family was refusing to cooperate, created a tense divide. It was an emotional and legal battlefield, where every action taken or not taken seemed to speak volumes. The aftermath and impact on domestic violence awareness. As the investigation into Gabby's death continued to unfold, something remarkable began to happen. The case sparked an outpouring of support for victims of domestic violence. The hashtag #JusticeForGabby went viral, and people began using it as a platform to share their own stories of abuse and survival. Gabby's story, though tragic, became a catalyst for a larger conversation about domestic violence, relationships, and the signs of abuse. Experts began to point out the warning signs that were present in Gabby's relationship with Brian. From the body cam footage showing a distressed Gabby to reports of tension during their travels, it became clear that domestic violence can happen in all sorts of relationships, and that the warning signs are often overlooked. This case has ignited important conversations about how we, as a society, can do better at recognizing and addressing the subtle yet dangerous signs of abuse before it's too late. Gabby's parents have used their platform to advocate for domestic violence victims, urging people to speak out, to ask for help, and to recognize the importance of listening to victims before it's too late. In many ways, Gabby's case has become a tragic yet powerful lesson in the importance of awareness, communication, and early intervention. You can make a difference. The Gabby Petito case remains an unsolved puzzle, leaving us with more questions than answers. Was Brian Laundrie the only one responsible? What were the true dynamics of their relationship? And what will the future of justice for Gabby look like now that her life has been cut short? As we look back on this heartbreaking story, we must remember Gabby not just as a victim, but as a person. A daughter, a sister, and a friend. A woman with dreams and aspirations who deserved the chance to live out her life. Her death has left an indelible mark on everyone who followed her journey. And it serves as a powerful reminder to all of us that we must continue to fight for justice.